This is a flea market in the back of a house. How you doing? Hi. Back here there are treasure trove of old records, just the kind, big bands, crap, lousy condition, 25 cents each, $1, just the kind of place you're looking for.
Well, folks, here comes Joe with some more vinyl finds of all kinds. We've got like an outdoor flea market here, and I guess he's probably found himself a couple of gems for a real good price. Now now that he's into the big band swing era, so to speak. What do you got there, Joe?
Who the hell knows? Got Duke Ellington, Tommy Dorsey Orchestra, Glenn Miller.
Well, I guess, you know, some of those things need to be a little cleaned up before they can go on the turntable there, huh?
That's part of the fun, my friend. That's part of the fun. You never know where you're going to find records. Look at this. I mean,
where or when.
What a mess.
Hi everybody, thanks a lot for tuning in. As you saw, I went to that little place there. That guy operates on the main road. He's got like some kind of a house back there that's filled with furniture and knickknacks and magazines, books, and records, of course. And he also has stuff strewn along the driveway. And he's there all the time. And I very seldom go back there because there's not a lot of good records there. I mean, I found about 5 records or something like that, I would say, that were playable. Most of the records there are so scratched, and the scratches are so deep that, you know, a needle on a record player is going to, you know, skip right through that, make noise and stuff, and hurt the stylus. So I don't pick up all of them. But, you know, I got like a bunch of records for $6. I mean, that's the thing too I want to drive home here in this video. You know, I just made a video, one back, talking about extreme collecting. And the reason that's hitting me right now is because I'm having a real great time collecting early jazz, big band type of records. And that's all fine and well, but when they're so cheap, when they're like a quarter, 50 cents, $1 or $2, it's easy to come home with a stack of 50 records in some places. And you know, that hit me as like too much too soon. I'm having a great time playing them. I'm actually getting most of these on, which is a rarity. Usually I leave things for later to listen to, but these I'm getting on right away, and I'm discarding the ones that I don't care for too much and keeping the ones that I want. I have a lot of stuff to show here, a lot of stuff. So many that I think I'm gonna have to make this a 2-part video. Either I'm gonna let this go a half hour or so, or I'm going to break it up. We'll see how it goes. If you're not a fan of early jazz stuff, and I got some Sinatra in here too, I'll explain about that when I get to it, because I had been culling off some of my Sinatra collection and keeping a little bit. I got 33-inch records, but I've also got 10-inch records and 7-inch records, all of which have picture sleeves and jackets. So it's not like just bare records. It's something to look at as far as sleeve collecting goes too. So anyway, let's get going here. It's already been a couple of minutes. I have here Count Basie swings and Joe Williams sings. I'll probably go through these fairly quickly, unless I have something to say about each record. This is Benny Goodman and his orchestra. One thing that I want to say about records like this one is that I'm a novice when it comes to this music, and the same can be said about the next one here. It's a 3-record set. That's Sentimental Gentleman Tommy Dorsey. It's a little box set. What I was saying is that when you're talking about Benny Goodman, the Dorseys, when you're talking about, wish I had one right here because I don't have it handy. Say if you're talking about Glenn Miller, those kind of records, it seems to me that there's going to be repetition. You're going to be like buying stuff, and because I'm a novice and I don't really realize it, I may be buying the same recordings over and over again, just different compilations. Because so much of it was recorded in the early days on 78 RPM records, and it's just put together on LP. So I haven't gotten to the point yet where I'm sophisticated enough in this to realize what I've already got. Here's something I found at Goodwill, which is really in great shape. This is the Duke Ellington Carnegie Hall concerts from January 1943. This is a multi-record set. I believe it's 3 discs. And I have to tell you, this was mint to find at Goodwill. But then again, a lot of these type of records may be. I don't know how many people really played the hell out of this. Here's one that I took a chance on at my record store. Bobby Swings Tenderly. This is a Bobby Troop. And I'm told that this is a pretty, unusual record. From the sense of it being rare. And I actually did give this a listen at my record store. And this particular one wasn't that great to me. I figured I'd buy it anyway because this particular record wasn't in the best shape, so it wasn't really astronomically priced or anything. But I'm going to give that more listens. What I heard wasn't really up my alley, but it was enough and a low enough price to give it another chance. Not so much for these records. Now, this is a portion of the video that I really want to bring forward to show you how collecting can become. A collection of records, when you're at the store, as I am, collections of records come in all the time. 99% of the time, it's garbage, and they have to. The guys in the store have to say, "I'm sorry, we can't use these." But other times there are good stuff there. Now, a big jazz collection came in. A lot of it was stuff I'm not interested in, like Miles Davis and John Coltrane, stuff like that. Art Blakey. But I got 4 records that came in by Sidney Bechet. And here's one of them here. I guess it goes, I don't know, really, I'm holding it. Here's the opening of the record, folks. Some jazz fan I am, I can't even find the opening of the record. It goes like this, Sidney Bechet. Okay, Jazz Classics with Bunk Johnson, Sidney, etc., Sidney D. Paris, Volume 1, Blue Note. Now, this is a Blue Note record. A lot of Blue Note records are desirable. And I got 4 of these, okay? Sidney Bechet. But let me explain the situation. Here's Volume 1. Here's Volume 2. These are in pretty damn good condition. Okay. Then there was a series here again. Volume 1 with Sidney Bechet, Giant of Jazz. And he's got Wild Bill Davison and Art Hodes with him in this. Okay. And also, this is the other volume of this. Now, the reason I'm signaling these 4 Bechet records out is because when the records first came in, I didn't even pronounce it correctly. I said to Corey, the young guy working there, "Oh, Beckett, let me try Sidney Beckett." He goes, "It's Bechet, it's not Beckett." So what I did was, I took the records out and I played them over in the corner. I listened to all 4 records, both sides. I took the needle with the headphones on and sampled some listenings. And it turned out that I enjoyed everything of what I heard. Now, it was just a sampling. It was just going along, listening to the record. And they're on Blue Note. And all of them are on Blue Note. And the condition for these kind of old records is pretty astounding. And I'm told that they're very desirable because they're what they call flat edge. A lot of you collectors will know this. Flat edge Blue Note records here. As opposed to, I guess, the more curled type of. So the rarity of these records really grabbed me, but also the fact that I'd listened to all 4 of them, just a sampling, and I liked what I heard. So I wanted these records, but to my surprise, the shop owner told me, these are rare records, and he gave me a good price because I'm a regular customer. But I paid more for these 4 records, together. I wouldn't say how much, but it was more than a novice would really ordinarily pay. Okay, I just was really grabbed by the rarity of these, the vintage, the condition, and the sound, because I did play the record. I wouldn't pay that kind of money if I didn't listen first to the records, So I'm taking kind of a chance. That's the real ultimate in blind buy. If you want to talk about a blind buy, that's almost completely blind, although I did hear a sampling. Okay, I haven't really tried out Stan Kenton yet, but I'm told that, it's good to hear some stuff. This is a salute to Stan Kenton by members of the Stan Kenton Orchestra, conducted by Maxwell Davis. So let me give that a listen. Here's Duke Ellington Fantasy, but by Hugo Montenegro and his orchestra. You have the Royal Concert of Duke Ellington and his famous orchestra, Volume 1, and also Volume 2. Now, goes back to what I was saying just a little earlier here. Like, I just showed a concert from Duke Ellington. For all I know, this is the same concert. You see, I haven't checked that yet. They're all so cheap that I give it a shot. But I may be buying a lot of same stuff. This is stuff that I'm going to learn as I go along. Sketches on Standards. Stan Kenton again. Well, this is actually Stan Kenton. The other one was a tribute to Stan Kenton. On Capitol. Now, Louis Armstrong and Eddie Condon at Newport. Louis Armstrong and Eddie Condon at Newport. This one I wasn't so sure about. I listened to some of this and I wasn't sure I liked what I'd heard on it. Duke Ellington and his famous orchestra and soloists. This one I wasn't too crazy about, but it was only like, I don't know, a quarter or something like that. So I'll give that. I didn't listen to all of it. I just listened to some of it. Maynard Ferguson's Hollywood Party. This is in pretty good shape. Duke Ellington and his orchestra, Newport, 1958. Okay, this is one that I had seen advertised, online, and I was hoping I'd find this, and I did. Krupa and Rich. So you got kind of like dueling drummers, and this is in pretty good shape. This record overall. I'm happy about this one a lot. Really love the cover on this, and again, dirt cheap. Basie Rides again. Look at that. Is that a fun cover? I don't care what you say, us collectors, some of them are worth having for the cover. Just like a nice portrait or painting. That's cool. Okay, Harry James and his orchestra, the New James. Okay, this is a $64,000 jazz. Which it's got all kinds of different people on here. Just looking at the back: Benny Goodman, Louis Armstrong, Eddie Condon, Harry James, Buck Clayton, Duke Ellington, Dave Brubeck, etc., etc., etc. And here we go again: The King of Swing, Volume 1, Benny Goodman. Not being familiar with a lot of this yet. Here's another Gene Krupa album, Drummer Man, featuring Anita O'Day. I learned from a nice one of my viewers who helped me out that he told me that Anita O'Day was the vocalist on another Gene Krupa album that I was listening to. Now this is interesting why I picked this up. I noticed when I had this album, it said Billy May down there, and that is the reason I wanted to give it a listen. So I gave it a sample and listened to it first, and it's Keely Smith. Help me remember the name. I know you people know her, but it says, I like the cover. It was so much fun. Cherokee Swings with Billy May. So I gave it a listen, and I really like this. I may look for more records by her, too, because she was good. Here's one a blind buy again. Hugo Montenegro and his orchestra. We'll see how this is. Again, this was probably a thrift store find. I don't recall. This one is called a hi-fi band concert. I don't really know what this is right away. Like I say, a lot of these are split. And it's funny how, even though you people who watch my videos know that I'm really fanatical about quality of my record jackets and records themselves, there's a certain, I don't know, appeal about these records being a little beat. I don't know what it is. Pete Fountain's French Quartet. I'm checking out Pete Fountain. This cover, I mean, this is really a great cover, I think. The disadvantages of the brass ring. Look at that picture. To me, that's just a riot. And more than a riot, I kind of wish I was in his position there. Statuesque beauty. Billy Vaughn, golden saxophones. Lester Lannon and his orchestra. Okay, I've been listening to some Dixieland music. Some of it I really don't like, some of it I do like. It's funny, it's hit and miss with me. Dixieland in Pittsburgh. I'm not really sure if I'm going to like this one or not. Dick Lamakin and his Riverboat Six. Yeah, so some Dixieland music, I'm like, yeah, this is fun and upbeat, just crazy stuff. Other times I'm like, man, let's see how that one is. It's always best when I can give it a pre-listen at my record store, which is not always the case when you're going to garage sales and things. Portrait of Shorty, Shorty Rogers and his Giants. That's interesting. I heard another Shorty Rogers album and I really liked it. Talked about Stan Kenton and being able to get a sampling of Stan Kenton. This is Stan Kenton's greatest hits. I figured this is a good way as an introduction to hear a lot of Stan Kenton. So I haven't played it yet, but we'll hear what that's like, and hopefully it was worth the purchase. But again, so many of these are only $1 or something. You're not going wrong. Here's another. Some of these jazz covers are outrageously fun. Straightaway Jazz Themes by Maynard Ferguson. Looks like Elvis preparing for a speedway or spin out. Something like that. Okay, this I gave a sample to, and I like this. The Jazz Makers. This seems to be an import record. It's got the flip backs, but it's Eddie Condon and Eddie Condon from 1933, and Bud Freeman and his famous Chicagoans from 1940. Here's another Dixieland record. Pee Wee Irwin and his jazz band, New York Dixieland. Joe Bushkin, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Bushkin, Blue Angels. Jazz a la Creole, Sidney Bechet. Hey, I didn't realize when I bought this that it was Sidney Bechet. But I did put this on for a sample listen at the store, and it sounded really good. So I think I'm a Bechet fan. Nat Cole, piano. We know him. Lester Young, tenor sax. Buddy Rich, drums. Giants 3. This is a collaboration record here. Okay, we're up to 16 minutes and change or something like that. Newport in New York, 72, the Jam Sessions, live at Radio City Music Hall. And there's a lot of people back here. I don't know if I'm going to like this one. There's some people here. I know I didn't really care for Dizzy Gillespie when I first heard him. He's on here, but there's other people too. So give it a listen. What do you got to lose for practically free? Jazz Classics, Original Blue Note Jazz, Volume 1, Edmund Hall, Art Hodes. I think this is this a gatefold? Yeah, it is. This was interesting. I like Glenn Miller. This was the Glenn Miller sound in percussion, so it's going to be interesting to hear what that is, how that translates. By the way, somebody alerted me, a customer in the store told me there's a version of Glenn Miller's song In the Mood that actually had the Andrews sisters doing vocals to it, which I didn't know when he played it for me on his smartphone, and it was really good. I got to be on the lookout for that. Here we have The Sounds That Swing on Philco. You know, different people again: Dave Brubeck, Art Van Dam, Glenn Miller, Andre Previn, Percy Faith, Duke Ellington, etc., etc. Now, this is funny. Whenever I think of Doc Severinsen, I always think of Johnny Carson's Tonight Show band. So, I mean, it's funny to think of him as having a early career, but I guess he did, right? So, I mean, listen to some Doc Severinsen. Here's a common album I've seen around again: Maynard Ferguson, Conquistador. But this one was a promo. It's got the timing strip on it, and for those who like it to see, it's got a white label promo on Columbia. Tommy Dorsey favorites played by the Pied Pipers. This looks like it can't miss, this particular record. Glenn Miller plays selections from the Glenn Miller Story and other hits. The original recordings. I've seen this around a lot. It seems to be a very common album. This is in great condition, this one. So, still got just a few LPs left. The Best of Al Hurt. Pete Fountain and Ann Al Hurt over there. Bourbon Street. Here's Warren Covington and the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra. But I'm not sure what to expect out of this one, so we'll find out. Foxtrot, Jitterbug, Waltz, Peabody, Bunny Hop, etc., etc. Doc Severinsen again. The big band's back in town. And only a few left here, folks. Dance to Artie Shaw, his clarinet and orchestra. The Chesterfield Broadcasts, Glenn Miller and his orchestra. This was unusual, I thought. A Swingin' Affair by Billy Daniels. And the last one of the LPs, Duke Ellington in a Magenta Haze. And I think I'm going to cut the video here. The next one is really worth watching if you're interested in such things. As I say, it's got 7-inch records, EPs, and 10-inch records. All of them are in jackets with, sleeves, not just plain 78 records or anything like that. They're 33s. The 10-inch records are 33s. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm having a ball. I hope you are.